Mason County Joint Planning Commission is now in session. Roll call.
David Reed.
Here.
John Hutchins.
Here.
John Bess. Debbie Rosser.
Yes, sir.
Michael Phillips.
Here.
Gerald Woods.
Here.
Joe Lawrence. Here. Michael Parker.
Here.
George Barger. I'm here. Michael Clark.
Here.
Okay, the minutes. Is there any additions, corrections need to be made before asked for a motion? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept the February 5th?
Question, I'm sorry.
Okay.
At the end of that, I think everybody was here last month, was they not? Was everybody here last?
Everybody but Liz.
8 members? Right?
Yes.
Well, then there was a correction needs to be made at the closing. There was only 7 that voted.
It wasn't
Yeah,
recruited.
that's David.
That's because I didn't
So,
The chair, gotcha. I'm sorry. Gotcha. My bad.
Okay. Any other comment? Rick, you make the motion?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Michael. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Old business, matter of record, is there any finding of fact, zoning map amendment, public hearing, Ranger Steel, Inc., 679 Parker Road? Is there any corrections, additions, or deletions need to be made to that? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept?
So moved.
John, do I have a second?
Support.
Leslie? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, matter of record, finding of fact, zoning map amendment, public hearing, Bruce Carlson, 794 Lexington Pike. Is there any additions, deletions, or corrections need to be made there? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept?
So moved.
Kirby, do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Opposed?
And I recused myself because of our direct or indirect financial interest at the last meeting. I recused myself from that vote.
Let the record reflect that John Bess is now in attendance.
Matter of record, finding of fact, zoning map amendment, public hearing, Bruce Carlson, 388 Skyline Drive. Is there any additions, deletions, or corrections need to be made? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept?
I'll motion.
Okay, John, do I have a second?
Second, I'll second.
Kirby? All those in favor say aye.
I also recused myself from that vote.
Opposed? Okay. New business, public hearing, zoning map amendment, application, Phoenix, Maysville, 1510 LLC, 1510 Industrial Park Drive, proposed new lot.
Okay. We need a motion to exit the regular meeting and enter the public hearing.
Do I have a motion to exit the regular meeting and go to the public hearing?
So moved.
Rick, do I have a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we're in public hearing.
All right, actually, before we start, we probably should have discussed this beforehand. I'm proposing, and Michael is in agreement with me, that we deal with these rezonings with one public hearing and deal with them separately, like we did last month, because they are related.
Okay.
So we're going to just do one public hearing and do 2 different votes and consider them separately, because the situation is, they're related, but the situations are a little different. So this will be the only public hearing we have tonight. Everyone, welcome to this public hearing. As I just stated, this is in relation to 2 zoning map amendment applications. One is from Phoenix, Maysville, 1510 LLC for a proposed new lot located at 1510 Industrial Park Drive, and for a zoning map amendment application from Peyton Land Company LLC for 2 lots located at 1502 Industrial Park Drive. At this time, I would like to offer evidence that this public hearing was noticed to the public. Here are two signed and notarized affidavits that I sent notices to adjoining property owners via first-class mail. here are the 2 signs that I erected on the property. And here is a printed copy of the digital tear sheet used to generate the advertisement in the Ledger Independent. It's really small, it's right there at the bottom. If you don't see it. All members of the public will be given the opportunity to speak on this matter. We request that you, we expect you to state your names and addresses for the record. Are there any members of the public aside from the applicants who wish to speak on this matter? And this matter will be the first one, which is the proposed new lot located at 1510 Industrial Park Drive. Okay. Do any of the applicants, are there any representatives from the applicants here who, aside from Millie, you think you're going to want to speak?
Unless I have to.
Okay. Well, if you want to, we can swear you in.
Why don't we go ahead and swear him in just in case?
Okay. You want to stand up, please? Do you swear or otherwise affirm to tell the truth? Please say I do. Okay. At this time, I invite the legal counsel to address me.
Hi. I have brought some extra copies of the presentation if anyone wants it. I'm Emily Vessels. I'm here on behalf of the 2 applicants for the sites on Industrial Park Drive.
I'm sorry, what's the spelling of your name?
Emily Vessels, Vessels, like a blood vessel. So this first slide shows the aerial of the proposed new parcel. We have 3.2 acres. On the left side, that's going to be the proposed expansion, and on the right side, you have the Tim Short Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram auto sales site. And so both of those sites are currently zoned industrial. In order to operate a auto sales service there, you need to be zoned commercial. So that's what we're here requesting. And as part of the current site that the Tim Short Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram sits on was grandfathered in as industrial, so that's how they've been operating up until this point. So with this new expansion, we've requested that everything comes into compliance, and that's why we're requesting the 2 commercial properties today. So this next slide is just again an aerial to show the surrounding uses. North of the site, you have the Meadowview Medical Center. East is, the Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram site. And then to the west, you have EnviroFlight Dialysis Clinic and the Pepsi-Cola Bottle Center. The next slide is a aerial of the current land zoning map, and you can see that surrounding this zoning, it's heavily industrial in this area, but along the highway, you're seeing a lot of commercial sites, and this is part of our justification on why we believe that this would be a good fit for commercial to accommodate this expansion of the auto sales site. The next slide we have is the future land use map. So you can see this area is contemplated to be industrial, but again, there's heavily contemplation of commercial sites along the highway, and there's been a lot of development commercially along this highway that justifies a change in use in this area, contemplating it more commercial. There are several medical centers along the highway, storage centers, retail centers, which should be considered a major change of economic nature within the area that were not anticipated at the time this future land use map was created, and have substantially altered the character of the area. So the proposed development will not adversely impact the surrounding area because there are several existing commercial properties nearby with this automobile dealership. This next slide is just a view from the Industrial Park Drive of the dealership, just to give you an idea of the property. And then this next slide is a view from the highway that where the arrow is, that's where the proposed expansion would be for this new lot. The next slide is just an example of what will be put on the proposed site, the 3 acres. It's across the street of the industrial park. This would just be a few bays for servicing, detailing, and storage of, a forklift, stuff like that, to accommodate the dealership and their expansion of their use. These pictures are from a site in Hazard, Kentucky, so this is just to show you an idea of what they propose to go on that 3 acres. They don't plan on making any changes to the current site that they operate on. And the last slide is just the overview of your all's comprehensive plan, just to justify why this commercial zoning fits with your all's comprehensive plan. The economic development objective 6 encourages the support of retention and expansion of existing businesses. Again, the site is located adjacent to the Tim Short Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, and the proposed site would expand the already existing use. Principle 2 emphasizes again the retention of viable components of the local economic and identify and encourage those businesses that are alive and well by providing assistance needed. This site has been operating for several years in Maysville at this location. Principle 3 encourages the expansion of opportunities and encouraging those entities that are considering an expansion to their operation and provide appropriate assistance. Again, this expansion is compatible with the condition of the subject property. This is expansion of the auto dealership site. Adequate utilities are available and able to service the area. And then lastly, Principle 6 suggests concentrating economic activities in selected areas. Similar to what I said before, there's a lot of commercial along that highway concentrated in that area, so we think it's a good fit for this expansion. That's kind of all I have, but like I said, Gary Markham's here. He can speak more to the specific proposed structure if you all need any additional information, and open to any questions if you guys have it.
Do you have anything separate for the other two?
Nope, the same kind of spiel for that. Just, it's already existing.
Is there anybody here who wants to speak to the other rezoning of the other two properties from the public or part of one of the applicants? Okay.
What are you calling the other two properties?
So there's the
Across
two.
the street.
Yeah, across the street, there's the where Tim Short is located.
Okay.
So those two properties, those are the other two. And then Ms. Vessel was speaking on more of the 3 acre right there, I believe.
Okay. But you're not talking about the 24 acre tract?
No,
Okay. When you said other two, I wasn't.
Sorry. That's proposed.
The 3 acres is currently being used by Tim Short already?
Yes, I believe so. I don't think the proposed structure hasn't been corrected or anything, but I think they are using that area currently.
So if there's no one from the public who wants to speak, you all could exit the public hearing. And you could still ask questions. And if someone wanted to speak who needed to express something, you could still let them speak.
All right, do I have a motion to go out of public hearing? Do I have a second? Michael? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're back into a regular meeting. Is there any questions or comments that anybody wants to make or ask?
Okay, so there are 3 properties, right?
Yeah.
So it's the 2 where the building is, and then the one across the street, the 3.2 acres, 3.02 acres, that's in blue. That's what we're, okay. Gotcha.
And I wouldn't say that you don't have 3 separate addresses here. It's just 2 lots that are treated as a single property, but you could call them 2.
Where the Tim Short building actually is now.
Correct.
Gotcha.
For some reason, the PBA says that there are 2 lots.
Interesting. Yeah, I see the division line there. That's
Yeah, I think there are 2 lots, but I think you can treat it as
Understood.
one property.
So you all can ask questions. I can talk about the staff report.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the only question I have, is there any intention of trying to get access from the AA, or is it all going to be off the?
It's all going to be off Industrial Park Drive. I doubt it will be possible to
Yeah,
get.
it'll just be, and it'll match up with the current ingress and egress on the other side.
Okay.
We hear your staff report.
Sure. So basically, I'm kind of forcing them to do this. I gave them a few options of what they could do. The Tim Short location, again, is legal, non-conforming, which we all know is grandfathered. Pursuant to KRS 100.253, when you have a grandfathered use, you cannot expand. So that's what's prompting those 2 properties to be rezoned to B2 highway business. And then the other property, I've been told that what the plans are there and that it's storage, but I've also observed As a matter of fact, it was just a few days ago, a Tim Short vehicle come down the AA highway, turn right, and then go onto the property. I'm assuming that was a test drive by somebody. It had all the price stickers on it and also had a Tim Short license plate on the back. So it effectively is an expansion of their auto sales, which you cannot do in industrial, which you can do in B2 highway business. There's also talk of auto detailing there. There might be other things there. The easiest thing to do here, you can get a conditional use permit for the auto detailing, I think. Really, if they were to just do purely storage, I'd probably have them put a fence and a gate on it so that, customers wouldn't cross over and be able to interact with vehicles. This is just the easiest and most convenient way for them to be able to do all the things that they want to do and to be in compliance, essentially. In terms of the appropriateness of this, I wouldn't have recommended this if I didn't think it was appropriate. But if you look in our comprehensive plan, these properties are located within the urban development area. And the comprehensive plan calls for most urban development within 20 years to occur within the urban development area with clusters of commercial or industrial development taking place around major intersections of the loop, with the intersecting highways of the AA Highway, US Highway 68, and Kentucky Highway 11. And I emphasize that because I don't know that there's a big difference as to whether or not these properties, for example, are industrial or commercial. But one thing I alluded to in my staff report that I want you all to visualize is think of downtown, like a 3-story building downtown. Typically, you have commercial on the bottom floor because it benefits most there with foot traffic and car traffic, people passing by. Usually retail establishments, not always, but most of the time. Then the 2 floors above it are typically residential, maybe some office, because you don't need foot traffic for that. Think about that vertically. Think about these properties horizontally. That I think it makes more sense for properties like these that are right along the highway to be commercial and then the properties behind them to be industrial. Because these commercial properties right along the highway, they depend on traffic passing by and seeing them, whereas industrial properties, they only need a roadway like Industrial Park Drive for access, for labor, and for shipping to and from the location. They don't really need big signs. They can have them, but they don't really need them. And if you look in that entire industrial district right there, there's only one property where there are land uses right up against the roadway, and that's where the virus flag is. So it's almost like it's planned that way to have things in front, like commercial, and have industrial in the back. And plus, the zoning classification they're seeking is B2 highway business. Where does that belong? Right along the highway, right? I think it's consistent with the comprehensive plan. We're talking about the 3-prong test. There's that prong. The Tim Short properties, I included a historical satellite photo that shows that it's been an auto sales land use since 2003 or before. That satellite photo is from June 2003. So I don't know what the provenance of how that was able to go forward in an industrial zone. But at this point, you could argue that industrial is the incorrect zoning classification, and commercial is the correct zoning classification. Do y'all have any other questions?
If they, on a new 3-acre parcel, if Tim Short wanted to come in and build a 3-story corporate headquarters there, allowable? Would they have to come back? It's just fine.
No, I think that would be fine.
Okay.
I could make sure of that. I'm assuming office would be fine in industrial. Or I'm sorry, B2 highway business. Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, it provides a lot of versatility on that 3-acre lot. Now, whether or not they'd be able to build the parking they needed, that'd be another true question.
Yep.
And they could always rezone it back if this.
That was my next question.
Yeah.
Obviously, I guess, because you said you used a or in there.
Yeah.
With I2 and D2, used or. So it sounds to me like they're not interchangeable, but to and fro is not that big of a deal. In case
Yeah, they wouldn't always
somebody was to
be,
come in and build, I don't know, a Tyson chicken plant there or something, we could redo this site too and build a large facility with
Yeah.
a whole 20-some acres.
if they needed that 3 acres, but they're still, I think, between 20 and 30 acres
It's
still.
already behind there.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't think commercial and industrial are necessarily interchangeable in all situations. But light industrial specifically, the difference between light industrial and heavy industrial is with light industrial, there really aren't any negative externalities or significant ones. They all take place within side buildings, all the land uses. So you're not gonna have big smokestacks with stuff coming out of them, you're not gonna have a bunch of noise, a bunch of odor, et cetera, et cetera. That's what's called light industrial. So you could go from one to the other, but I think in this case, B2 is most appropriate along the highway.
And the plan at this point is for Tim Short to be the leasing, not the owner of the property, correct?
That's correct, yes.
And, over there on Pope Drive, that was rezoned right after I started work here almost 9 years ago. With the comprehensive plan map, it envisioned a lot of that land there to be industrial, but a lot of it's not industrial anymore. It's zoned commercial now. If you look at, I think it's on the final page, there's a lot of red there along the highways on both sides. And even in that industrial district, there's not a whole lot going on along the highway.
I think if y'all are inclined to grant this, it's pretty straightforward. Got plenty of justification to do so. I'd say it's properties located along an urban corridor. It's in agreement with the comprehensive plan. It's located along an urban corridor. There are multiple commercial and industrial properties nearby, and there's not that much dissimilarity between the uses. And the comprehensive plan, as stated by council, wants us to encourage existing businesses and help them grow.
Any other questions? Comments? All right, need a motion we'll do the first one, public hearing on the zoning map amendment application for Phoenix, Maysville 1510, Industrial Park Drive. Do I have a motion?
That's for 3 acres, right?
Yes, the
Yes.
proposed new 3 acre lot.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Okay, Kirby, do I have a second?
Yeah, more grounds.
It falls, the ground.
Yeah,
What's your?
what's your justification?
It basically fits the plan of the comprehensive plan. It fits the setting of the comprehensive plan that's already existing.
Consistent with the comprehensive plan.
I'll second.
Okay. John,
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
you gonna do a voice?
Yes, sir. Voting aye would be to approve the rezoning, as stated. Voting nay would be to just shoot down the motion. If you all wanted to deny it, you would have to have another motion. John Hutchins.
Yes.
John Best.
Yes.
Lee Russell.
Yes.
Lindsay Phillips.
Yes.
Darrell Woods.
Yes.
Rick Lawrence.
Yes.
Michael Parker.
Yes.
All right. Settled.
Okay, next, need a motion for public hearing on the zoning map amendment application, Peyton Land Company.
No, we did it all during one public hearing.
That vote covered all of it?
We don't need a public hearing, we
We don't need
just,
another public hearing, we just need another vote for the other reason. I thought you were,
No, I just read the thing. All right?
Been a long time.
Give me a break.
It's been a long day.
Been a long day. Do I have a motion for the Peyton Land Company proposed 2 lot?
yeah, that would be the Tim Short main
Tim
site,
Short main site.
those 2 lots.
and I would make that motion. I think that motion would be to look at those 2 properties in compliance, and it's consistent with that comprehensive plan as well.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Support.
Okay, Rick?
Voice vote. Again, voting aye would be to approve the rezoning application. Voting nay would be to vote against approval, and would be another motion to deny. John Hutchins.
Yes.
John Best.
Yes.
Kirby Ross.
Yes.
Lindsay Phillips.
Yes.
Darrell Woods.
Yes.
Rick Lawrence.
Yes.
Mike Park.
Yes.
There's that.
Okay, next on the agenda is comprehensive plan update.
Real quick, I say this for any rezoning inside city limits. Pursuant to KRS 100.2111, alternative zoning regulation, after final action by the planning commission, which will be at the next meeting, which will be, I think, on April 2nd, after that, unless an aggrieved person or the city board of commissioners itself requests such, these rezonings will take effect 21 days after that date. So these seem to be relatively non-controversial, so I would expect that would happen. Okay.
Question,
Yes.
which has nothing to do with zoning. What about setback?
What about?
Is there any stipulation about how far he needs to be off the double A or the,
Setbacks, setbacks apply to structures, but if you're asking about encroachment on the right of way, I'm going to be there.
has nothing to do with zoning, just a question. Thanks, sir.
Comprehensive plan update.
I tried getting a hold of Allison. She's out of the office right now, so I don't have any updates.
Don't forget we got signed in papers.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you very much.
All right. Now I have a motion to adjourn.
George, you have any other updates regarding small business?
Oh, yes, yes. Thank you for reminding me. So just so you all know, there was a citizen who sent a letter to the city about the rezoning of 794 Lexington Pike. So we are interpreting that as a request for the city to make the final decision on that. Now, having said that, I've heard from, he was here, Robin was here. I've heard from Bruce's attorney, Robin Rice, that Bruce was concerned about people's concerns that were expressed last month. And he is considering whether or not he necessarily wants the tavern to go forward. And with that, bed and breakfasts are actually a conditional use in R1A zones. So I asked his attorney to get together with Mr. Carlson and decide what he really wants to do with the property, because he may not need the rezoning for it. So there's a chance when the city deals with this that the rezoning, because it's not wanted anymore, might be denied. I also told them that the city has, I think, 90 days to make the final decision from the date of final action, which would be today, which would be the signing of these and the approval of the findings of fact, that we would wait for them to decide what they wanted to do. So it's not going to be this month. It may not be next month. So the work he's doing, I think he's planning on doing this year, doesn't necessarily require the rezoning. So take Michael. He's the one who wanted me to update you about that. And I almost forgot. I brought it.
And that doesn't impact the second parcel at all anyway.
Right, second parcel was, the zoning was denied. Because he, which if you guys didn't require him to do the other one, he didn't care about it. All right.
All right, if there's nothing else, we'll have a motion to adjourn. Second? All those in favor say aye. Done?